Ah! How did that happen right now? Holy dude, I took a swig, I put my cup down, or my can, and then a drip just went.
Welcome back to the otherworldly eye injury. Today we'll be talking about how a can drip into one's eye.
And cause severe blindness.
Dylan's actually going to demonstrate again, this time with the camera recording, so you can see it all in action.
All right. And it's something like that.
That was a good performance.
Oh, the camera's actually rolling?
Yeah, it was.
Oh. Top of the morning to you. Welcome to the Otherworldly Eye Injury, where we pour energy drinks into our eye.
On purpose.
For functionality and science and research.
Don't mind them cutting down a tree outside. That tree deserves it.
Trees are Oh, we're actually starting too.
Yeah. Today, we are going to have some personal stories today. We're going to start off with some lighter ones, not necessarily paranormal, and then move on to paranormal ones. Dylan, do you have any paranormal ones, or just at least a spooky one?
The only ones I can think of are the ones you told me when we were younger.
So none that happened
with Franklin.
Yeah.
That's one. And then that time I spent the night at Joseph's, and then like the light kept turning on and off.
Yeah. Oh wait, what? I didn't hear about that one.
You told me about it.
Joseph's?
I spent the night at Joseph's, but you.
Okay. I thought you meant at Joseph's.
No.
Okay.
The light kept turning on and off. The closest thing I have to a ghost story is me pranking and punking my friends.
What about your bike story?
Oh, that wasn't a ghost. That was a human. He tried to steal my bike. So a few days ago, I was leaving college class, not for English, as you can tell, and the help needs to stop laughing. All right. Anyways, and the guy was stealing my bike, and I go up to him like, "Hey, that's my bike." And he looks at me and goes, "Are you sure?" No, I'm sure it's my bike. So I grabbed it and I was like, "Hey, I can see you have a bike lock right there. My bike lock that you cut. Like you're trying to steal my bike." And I told him that, and he goes, "Well, the lady said I could have them." What? So I just took my bike and I rode off. And in hindsight, I feel kind of bad because he didn't just have my bike. He had like another one too, and so he stole a bike.
And he probably kept stealing them after you left too. Don't they have like a campus patrol you could have like notified or something?
I could have done more, but I felt like, beggars can't be choosers, and I already got enough out of that situation, having not had my bike stolen, that I was like, yeah, no.
I only have one lighthearted story I can think of right now, which isn't really, depending on how you look at it, where the view is. My view of it though was pretty light. So I worked at a retail store, a small one, back a long time ago, and so I didn't have my own ride at the time. So what happened was my father would drive me to work because we worked the same hours, except for he worked a full 8 hours. I worked about 4 hours. So we would start at the same time, and I would get off 4 hours early, so I'd have to wait for him to get off work before he can take me home. So this particular day, I got out of work, and across the street there was a Taco Bell. I went to the Taco Bell, ordered like $5 worth of food, and sat down, of course, waited for the food, and I had my drink. So I kept refilling the drink and drinking it, refilling, sitting back down. About an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours later, the manager comes out, right? And she comes to me and is like, she's like, "I've been sitting there for hours, and you've just been getting refills and just drinking it. You can't stay here. This is loitering." And she gets all up in my face about it. And I show her my receipt and tell her I did not receive my food yet, because I had not received my food yet. And so she took the receipt. She's like, you wait here. She went in the back. And then about, I don't know, 10 minutes later, she comes out all apologetic going, oh my God, I just watched security cameras. Nobody brought you your food. I am so sorry. And she gave me the food. She gave me extra food, like doubled my order. And then of course I ate it and left.
That's freaking funny.
But yeah, it was so great because I didn't have anything to do for those hours anyway. And the fact that she came out was all like crazy to me without even knowing that they were ripping me off. And I didn't say anything because I was having to be there for hours anyway.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't go up saying, where's my food? But yeah. That was a great day.
So they're like, you didn't even think to like go up and bother them because you were like, this will come around eventually.
Yeah. And I had to be there for hours. I was like,
you might as well burn some time, but
yeah, I was like, I don't mind waiting. I mean, the worst that's gonna happen is I'll eat later on. So it's like, I'm gonna get my food no matter what. But
she probably thought you were like really shy, like.
I don't know.
Why hasn't this kid said anything? He's been here for hours.
No, because she thought I got my food. She thought I'd already eaten and I was just getting refills and loitering the whole time.
Oh, and then that's why she took
my receipt and went to go check.
And
then she
came
cameras
out and she was like,
and she was
holy
like,
fuck,
yeah.
This kid's been waiting.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
It was great times. I never went back to that Taco Bell.
Today's episode is sponsored by Clash of Clans.
The psychological horror game
that sinks you deeper and deeper every day. So I can tell the story about how I punked my friends.
Yes.
All right, it's not too long,
but it's very spooky.
All right. So,
don't watch this at night. Go ahead.
So you know Joseph, and do you remember Gabriel?
Iglesias? How could I forget?
Rodriguez?
Oh. No.
All right, so I was hanging out with these two guys back in like I think freshman, sophomore year of high school, and they are both very, or at least at the time, they're both very superstitious. So I thought I'd take advantage of it, and throughout the night, like, cause we're hanging out, like our game plan is to find ghosts, and we're walking around the Squaw Valley house, and it's really dark. And at one point, like, a bird or something made a noise in the background. And then I tell Joseph, I go, did you hear that? And he looks at me and he goes, yeah, was that a little girl? I was like, I think she said, help me. He's like, no. And then throughout the night, I would do it. I wouldn't, or like, at one point, I went around the corner, help me. You know, like, I would just plan it in his mind. Like, there's a little girl out there just saying, help me. And Gabriel's there too, and he's freaking out. And they're both like, dude, I'm gonna shit myself. This is too much. I can't handle this. And throughout the night, it's like, did you hear that? I think she said, help me. And then, so I'm just being a total asshole, and I'm planning it in their minds. I'm brainwashing them. And then, at some point in the night, I was like, well, I don't think we're gonna see anything, so let's go into my room before it gets, because I think it was like nearing 1 a.m. And I was like, we should probably stop before it gets like out of hand. And they're like, okay. So we go in my room, and I told them, I was like, oh, I need to piss. So I walk out. Unbeknownst to them, my door did not lock properly. It actually did not close properly at all. So if you wanted to, anyone could just go up to it and push it open, and the knob would like that.
Oh,
because the hinge wasn't properly secured. So I close it. I hide. So door opens like this, right? I hide right here, kind of like by the wall, and I just barely from the edge of the door push my fingers slowly at first, and then a little faster. And I could just hear them, because I'm hiding right here, I can hear them going, holy fuck, what the shit? Oh my god. And they're like, what the fuck? Oh, there's nothing there. And then, I get a little close. And then I round the door and I go, ah! And they were so I remember, like, Gabriel looked at me and he was, when the door opened and there was nothing there, I shit myself. Alright, now you tell your story. You only got 4 minutes to make it choppy.
Oh, shoot.
Chop, chop. Chop, chop.
All right.
Hurry up.
I don't know which story you want
Whenever
to
you
tell.
want to speak.
No. I'm trying to think of which story to tell.
Tell the one about either the time I was at Joseph's or the time we were playing tag with Franklin.
All right, I can probably get those both out of the way, actually, in 4 minutes.
All right.
So, the tag, we were actually all playing, him and all of his siblings. We were playing tag, and of course it was at night. We were actually on a decently sized property, so it wasn't like in the city. Yeah, it was a decently sized property. It was not in the city, so there weren't any streetlights, I don't think, right? No streetlights at all, right? So no streetlights, so just turning off the house lights was really dark. So we're playing tag. I forgot who was it, but that doesn't matter. I remember it was me and Franklin. That's why he called it the me and Franklin story. Was because we found a great hiding place. It was like right at the edge of a fence. There was a tiny dip where you can lay down and roll into.
We were playing zombie tag too, right? Where like
when you tag somebody, then they all tag. Yeah. So every time someone got tagged, they both became it, and then they would continuously go. So me and Franklin hid in the spot where we would lay down and rolled into this spot, and the fence was right there. It was a barbed wire fence, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So we were playing tag, and it started getting silent because they were probably going off trying to find other people. And so me and Franklin just laid there, just getting really silent to where we couldn't even hear anybody anymore. And then out of nowhere there was this, and it's hard to remember, it was a very long time ago actually. It was like a big white dog just comes running, like top speed, just running, and slams into the fence as if it can just go straight through it, and then just disappeared. Like you could hear its paws running. It just came at the fence, hit the fence started moving, and then boof, gone. Couldn't even hear it anymore. And we both got up and took off. But after we did that, we turned on the lights, we stopped the game, and we went to go look around there because we know it wasn't anybody that was playing. And there was nothing there. There was no dog tracks. The fence was still just fine. That was a crazy time. And that one, I guess, could be explained by a big white dog, but the chances, it's just very hard. It's hard to describe it like as impossible as it was without being there. The second story with Dylan, although I don't remember any lights flickering, Dylan here, I think everyone was gone pretty much. I thought Dylan was home. And to try to describe this, is there's multiple houses on this property, small house, big house kind of deal. I had walked into the big house and looking for the phone, and we had the phones that can reach out to all the houses. And his mother said, "Oh, I think Dylan had the phone last." So I was like, okay. So I left, and it was nighttime. I left that house, the main house, and walked out to the small house where Dylan would be. So I went in there. I walked in, and I didn't know where the light switch was in this one because I'm hardly ever there. If I'm in that specific little house, it's daytime, so you don't need the lights. So I walk in, and I see the phone blinking because that's what it does, and I see Dylan laying in bed sleeping. So I was like, I just slowly walked over there, grabbed the phone, and left. So in the morning, I came in for breakfast, of course. Nobody's there except for his mom, and I was like, hey, where's Dylan? And she was like, oh, Dylan's been at Joseph's. And I was like, oh, what, did he leave this morning? She's like, no, he's been there all day. He's been there since yesterday. And I was like, well, then who was here? And she's like, nobody was here. It was just me and you, and that was about it. And there was nobody else there. And so it's like, nobody was in that house. But yet I know somebody was there because when I walked in, even though it was dark, you can tell that someone was laying there under the covers but partially exposed, like hair. Like you can see details that were there, and I figured it was Dylan. Now here's I think where it gets a little bit more scary is if this wasn't a ghost, okay, which is possible, but is the reality of it is more scary than the actual ghost, because if it's a ghost, at least it's a ghost. But in the reality part, somebody could have just, some crazy person could have just walked right in, because we didn't lock the doors. Like I said, it was like a country type place, so we didn't hardly have any neighbors, nothing. So it's possible someone could have opened the door, walked into that little house part, and went to sleep in Dylan's bed. It's very possible, but that is more frightening
than a ghost.
Than if it was just a ghost. But yeah, that was a crazy part, because I could have sworn it was Dylan, but nobody was there. Nobody.
Are we still sure Damien wasn't there?
Yeah, Damien wasn't there. I made sure, because it was either you, Damien, or Franklin are the people I hung out with, and none of you guys were there. And Julia and Sarah weren't there, so it was just like me and Christine.
That's scary.
Yeah, those are the scary. I have a lot more scary experiences, even better ones, but it's just they take longer to talk about.
What's the one you told me about with the graveyard and your friends?
We'll have to do another episode,
yeah.
so we can do that. Next week, we might be doing something else, like a skit.
Yeah.
And then probably maybe another telling, but we are also planning on doing a review of a manga or an anime. Still not sure yet. We might do it and then get back to you on it next week. We'll have to see. We'll see what the future holds.
Don't forget, you can always email us at theotherworldlypod@gmail.com if you want to participate. We'd love to share your content. You, the viewer, just do it.
You heard our ghost stories. Let us hear yours.